Well, hello everyone and welcome back to another theme park obsession video. My name is Dylan and thank you so much for tuning back into the channel. Today I'm back in the theme park obsession office because the dust has finally settled from D23 and the Parks and Experiences panel has concluded, so we know all the juicy details on all the new rides and attractions coming to the Disney parks around the world. And today I'm going to give my honest opinions on all of that and more. So how about you and I dive right in. Now, before we get started, if you're new here and you love all things theme parks, well, you've come to the right place and you should consider subscribing because I have brand new videos every single week from some of your favorites. Got my coffee here and I'm ready to go. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. They did announce quite a few things, more than I thought they were going to announce, which is a good thing. And in today's video, I'm only going to be talking about the rides and attractions and like some of the special events. I'm not going to be talking about Fortnite. I'm not going to be talking about any of the other experiences like the cruise ships. I'm just going to talk about some rides and attractions. Now, the presentation was very long. It was a lot longer than the 90 minutes that they said it was going to be. And that was because a lot of the presentation was fluff. They had so many musical numbers. It was ridiculous. Like, hey, I love a musical number here and there, but this was more of like a concert than anything. It wasn't a panel. This was a concert or an award show. That's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of like the Oscars. So the fact that they would do an announcement and then 2 or 3 musical numbers, it just started getting old really quick. And I'm like, come on guys, let's actually start talking about the announcements and going into deeper detail, or at least as much as you can, because you're in front of thousands of people. Why not? So was I a huge fan of the panel? No, not really. And was I a fan of all these random noises happening in the park right when I'm filming this video? Not really either. But it is what it is. And I'm happy that we at least did get some announcements. So let's just dive into all of that, starting off with my home park, which is the Disneyland Resort. Now, we know that the 70th anniversary is quickly approaching, if you can believe it. I can't believe Disneyland is turning 70 years young. It's pretty crazy. And for the celebration, they're going to be doing some stuff, but again, we don't really know too many of the details. They did show the new logo, which I think is neat. It's nothing too spectacular. I think the Diamond Celebration logo was a little bit better. And in addition to the logo, they did say that they're gonna make some announcements later on down the road. So I'm assuming those announcements will be a new parade, a new fireworks show, maybe a few other little things scattered around the park, the food and the beverage and all that kind of easy stuff. But as far as big spectacles, yeah, at least a couple new nighttime shows. I wouldn't be surprised if they change up World of Color as well. I just wish they would have talked about it more. It's a big deal. It's happening soon. It's not just happening in the next couple of years. I mean, this is less than 12 months away. So yeah, why not show us more of what you have in store for the 70th anniversary? Or maybe they don't have anything and they're just saying, oh yeah, we're going to talk about it a little bit later. So who knows? Again, you're going to hear me repeat myself quite a few times in today's video. I wish they would have just said everything in a moment that gives them the opportunity to talk about things. You're in front of thousands of people and the world is watching. Why not tell everyone what is in store for the 70th anniversary? But moving on to California Adventure, where actually a lot of big news was dropped. Now, an announcement that happened that totally came out of left field was Coco, a new Coco boat ride coming to California Adventure. And I actually really like this idea. They're drawing inspiration from Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean, so I'm hoping that it's a little longer than what we've seen with some of their recent boat rides like Navi River Journey. I'm thinking this is going to be a longer excursion, which is good, but it looks really beautiful. The piece of concept art that they showed off looks gorgeous. So it's going to be a very colorful ride, and I'm sure all the audio animatronics inside the attraction are going to be spectacular because all of Disney's new animatronics are incredible. So I have no doubt that they're going to do the same kind of thing here for Coco. This is also a really good move for California Adventure because now we have a slow-moving boat ride in the park. We do not have any slow-moving boat rides in California Adventure yet, so the addition of this Coco attraction is going to really help in that department and add some pretty good capacity to the park because these boat rides are people eaters. Now, do I think it's a perfect fit for California Adventure? No, I would have much rather seen this attraction at Epcot in the Mexico Pavilion. That would have been a perfect fit over there, especially a reimagining of the Grand Fiesta Tour because that ride's a little outdated. So I think it would have just been a lot better in that park, but I'll take it. Like I said, it adds capacity to California Adventure. The park does need new attractions, So I think this is going to be a really big hit. And speaking of boat rides, they announced another one, and it's the attraction going into the world of Pandora, the new Avatar land. That will also be going to California Adventure. And you can start seeing that like California Adventure is just losing its California theme. Like all the theme parks, its core themes, they're just kind of all thrown out the door now, and they're just like, all right, how can we put these different IPs in these different theme parks? But with that aside, I'm actually really excited about the new Avatar land coming to California Adventure. They showed off a couple pieces of concept art, one of the land, and then a couple more, I think just two of the boat ride that's going in there. It looks to be a very large boat ride, similar to Pirates of the Caribbean in Shanghai, which if it's the same ride system, that's going to be really cool. And they also mentioned how this new attraction in this new land will be kind of thrilling. So maybe a couple drops or something in there would be kind of nice. Maybe some drops like Pirates of the Caribbean to add a little bit of thrill here and there. This is another one that I approve. I kind of dig the Avatar land. Placement is weird, but the size and scope of this is spectacular. I really love Pandora out at Animal Kingdom in Florida. And this new land is based on the second and third films. So I think this is going to be really neat, and it's going to give people a reason to go to both coasts, to see the Way of the Water stuff, and then over at Animal Kingdom to see like the floating mountains and all that kind of fun stuff from the first movie. I hope that they stick to the concept art. I hope it doesn't change too much, because one thing that I really love about the concept art is the like massive water feature on the back end of it, which I'm assuming is housing the attraction and hiding the show building. But it's got these like circular like rock shapes, and they're just gorgeous. So seeing that in full scale is probably going to be something else, and I can't wait to see that. Josh also said that the land's going to have some shopping and dining, and here's hoping we get like a Satuli canteen in there. That would be kind of cool, because I love that quick service place. It's like one of the best quick service restaurants at Animal Kingdom. The food's really good. I've never had any issues there, and I'm thinking they're going to do something similar. It's probably not going to be the same exact thing, but it'll be, maybe it's like a seafood kind of restaurant, since we're dealing with the second movie. And then going back to the attraction really quick, I hope that the attraction has very large animatronics, because the movies are so grand. The ride has to be on the same scale, right? I mean, this is one of the biggest franchises that Disney has. Like, I feel like Avatar, Star Wars, and Marvel are just their big juggernauts. So I feel like they have to go big with this new attraction. And if they're using the same technology like at Pirates of the Caribbean in Shanghai, we might see a lot of screen technology, but hopefully it blends together very nicely. I hope it's a lot of practical effects, because as much as I love the screen tech, I do just love being in an environment that feels a little bit more real. And then the third major thing that's happening at California Adventure is something we already knew about, and that's the Avengers E Ticket ride. They finally showed off what the facade's gonna look like. They showed off a couple pieces of concept art of the interior space, and they also showed off the ride vehicle. I think this is gonna be a Transformers or Spider-Man kind of experience. I love Spider-Man and Transformers. They're fun. I prefer Spider-Man over Transformers as far as that same ride system. I think Spider-Man's just a little bit more thrilling. I don't know, this one I'm like 50-50 on. I'm glad California Adventure is adding capacity. The park needs more rides, but the original idea for this ride, the original Blue Sky idea, seemed way better than what we're getting now. It seems like things have been scaled back, the budget's not as grand, and that worries me a little bit. I hope it's just not some, plain Jane 3D ride. I hope it is very grand in scale, like with the Avatar attraction. Again, it's a huge franchise for them. Marvel is massive. Why not just go big in this all new attraction? I think it's gonna be very similar to the Peter Pan ride at Tokyo Disney Sea, which I've heard good things about. I've heard the technology in there is marvelous, but again, I don't know. It's funny how Universal's really not doing too many 3D things, and now Disney is. It's like the tables are turning. So I'll be keeping an eye on this one. Again, 50-50 on the Avengers ride. I'm more excited about Coco and the Avatar attraction. And also in Avengers Campus, they're adding another attraction. So it'll be 4 attractions total in Avengers Campus, which is great. And this one is like a Kuka arm type attraction, where it looks like a robot arm attaches to the ride vehicle, and then it picks it up, and then it kind of spins it around. And there might be like a little track that it goes around, but it's more or less like a flat ride. So this is not some crazy out of control Kuka experience like we've seen at Universal Studios and with some of Universal's newer rides. I think this is gonna, oh, there was a squirrel that just ran by me. And I think if you easily get motion sickness, I don't know if this ride's gonna be for you. It's very similar to what Legoland had for a long time here in California. It was, I believe, called Night Challenge, and it was just a KUKA arm that was stationary. It would like pick you up, and then it would like fling you over like this water feature and just do different moves, and then it returned you back to like that patio structure that they had, which was the load and unload. It didn't go anywhere. It wasn't tracked or anything. I think this one's tracked, but it just kind of goes in a circle while it's doing these spins and everything. I forgot the name of the attraction. I'll put all this stuff in the video, the concept art, but it's very similar to that Legoland attraction for those that remember. So nothing too insane technology wise going here. It's just something that we've seen before. But again, I am happy that they're adding some capacity to the park. Now, before we move away from the Disneyland Resort, I just missed one more thing, and that is probably my favorite thing for the Disneyland Resort out of all the announcements. And that is the Walt Disney Show going into the Opera House on Main Street. The Opera House is home to Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, which will stay there. It will be a revolving show with this new one, but they're gonna have a new show featuring a Walt Disney animatronic. And from the press releases and everything and the announcements, apparently this animatronic is the most lifelike, realistic, most advanced animatronic that Disney has ever made, ever. So this is really exciting. I think this show is gonna be a huge hit. This conversation has been going back and forth in Imagineering for a very long time because they need to do it right. They can't just do something that's Jimmy rigged or anything. And it needs to be perfect because you're showcasing the man that started it all. So I think they were waiting for some technology to get here. And I think they were just wanting to make sure that they got it right. And I think they got it right. So I'm really stoked to see this all new show. This opens up next year, so this will probably be a kickoff to the 70th anniversary. And I think this is gonna be a tearjerker. I think there won't be a dry eye in that theater for the Walt Disney Show. It's gonna be something spectacular. At least I hope so. I hope that we walk out of that show going, wow, that was amazing. Like Walt Disney was standing right there. And that's gonna be cool for us hardcore, Disney theme park fans. Walt Disney changed the game, and unfortunately he passed away before he got to see a lot of things. So it's going to be kind of cool and maybe a little bit creepy to see Walt Disney interacting with an audience at Disneyland. It's going to be something very special though at the same time. And if I were to rank these, I would probably put Walt Disney Show at the top of the list. I'm really hyped for that one. Pandora right below it, Coco right below that, and then the Avengers stuff at the bottom. All respectively though, I think these are really good additions to the Disneyland Resort. Do I wish they would have announced even more for the Disneyland Resort? Absolutely, but it is what it is. I'm happy that at least they're paying attention to California Adventure. But let's move on to the other side of the country, to Walt Disney World. Okay, Walt Disney World is getting quite a bit, rightfully so. They have Epic Universe just up the road that they need to compete with, so it makes sense that a lot of the budget in this huge plan is going to be going to Florida. It makes sense. So let's start off with Hollywood Studios, and that park is getting a major new land, and it's Monstropolis. They're building a whole Monstropolis land, which I kind of dig. I love this idea. Hollywood Studios is another one of those parks that I feel is neglected in a lot of areas. Animation Courtyard is one of them, and some areas of like the Hollywood area, like the Sunset Boulevard area, can use some help. So I think this is going to be a good fit for the park. And that long rumored door roller coaster is finally a thing. It's real. We're finally getting the door roller coaster. We've been like the coaster enthusiast community has been talking about this rumor for years. So the fact that it's finally happening is pretty epic. Now this door coaster is going to be pretty sick because it's Disney's first suspended coaster. And if we look throughout Disney's coaster history, they work really well with Vekoma. Vekoma is a manufacturer of coasters. They built Cosmic Rewind at Epcot, and they've built so many other roller coasters in Disney's arsenal. Like Tron is another Vekoma product. So they work really well with Vekoma. And a lot of us coaster nerds are thinking that this is a suspended thrill coaster from Vekoma. And I'll flash up some pictures of other suspended thrill coasters that they've built in Europe. They have 2 of them. There's one at Tripsdrill and then there's one at Emerald Park. And they're really fun coasters. They look spectacular. So I'm thinking that this is what that is. And the fact that it's going to be a custom layout is pretty nice too. It looks to be a really good people eater as well, because in the model that they've shown off at the expo floor, it looks to be dual load. So I don't think capacity is going to be an issue here. But if this is in fact a Vekoma STC, we're in for a really good ride. It's going to be a very smooth ride. These new age Vekoma coasters are incredible. If you've never been on Tron, oh my God. Tron is so smooth. And same with Cosmic Rewind. They're glass smooth. It's incredible. The profiling that Vekoma has been able to do on all their new generation coasters is out of this world. So really stoked for the monster coaster. I hope it's Vekoma. If it's not, I mean, there's other great manufacturers too. I'm not downing any of the other manufacturers. They make great products, but it's just, I think it's going to be Vekoma. But this door coaster, it's going to be a huge hit at Hollywood Studios. It's what the park totally needs. I feel like Hollywood Studios can get away with more thrilling rides. They have Rock and Roller Coaster, they have Tower of Terror, they have the Slinky Dog Dash. So I think more thrill rides in the Disney parks is a good thing, and it's a good fit for Hollywood Studios. Next up is Epcot. Epcot is getting a new lounge. They just finished this like massive renovation at Epcot, so we had a feeling that nothing big was going to be announced, but I am a little bummed that they didn't talk about Figment. They didn't talk about the Play Pavilion. They didn't even talk about Horizons making the comeback. I mean nothing. It's weird. But I will take the new lounge, a nice place to, again, see more noises. Yeah, new lounge, awesome. I love a nice place to sit and grab a drink and enjoy kind of, the atmosphere. This is all going to be themed to Spaceship Earth. If you're wondering where this is at, I know some people have been trying to speculate. I believe it's just right behind Spaceship Earth, which is right behind the Walt Disney statue. That building with the big glass panels that's like smack dab in the middle. I think it's right there. Moving on to Tropical Americas at Animal Kingdom, they showed off some more concept imagery of the land itself, which looks really beautiful. I think it fits Animal Kingdom really well. I love the Africa section, I love Asia, and I love all the other little parts of Animal Kingdom. So this fits snugly in with the rest of it. It feels lived in. It's gonna be, that feeling of that intrinsic value of nature and all that kind of stuff. I think you're gonna feel that in this new land as well. I don't think you're gonna lose it that much until you get up to the Encanto attraction, then you lose it a bit, but it is what it is. The land's gonna have 3 attractions, a carousel, Encanto, which is a boat ride, and then the Indiana Jones attraction, which is the reskinned dinosaur ride. Let's start off with Encanto. I was not expecting it to be a boat ride. I'm cautiously optimistic about this. I hope it's a long boat ride. I hope it's not like Navi River Journey. And I've heard rumors that it's not going to be the biggest thing in the world, but who knows? We could all be wrong. I hope it's grand in scale. The movie did really well, so yeah, why not give it a good budget? We'll be traveling through the rainforest, and it would be kind of cool to exit the attraction and then walk through an animal experience. I mean, you never know. Again, they didn't really give too many details, so there could be that experience after the ride. They also have a carousel in the land, and the carousel is going to have these like custom wood carved ride vehicles, which is pretty cool, great for the little kids. And then the other attraction is that Indiana Jones attraction, and I'll talk about Dinosaur in a minute, but I think this is a good one. I think people are going to love the Indiana Jones attraction. I think it's a good money saving thing because they don't really need to spend too much changing things up. I mean, they just got to change the aesthetic of it because the ride system is going to be the same. It's going to be very similar to what we've seen here in California with our Indiana Jones attraction, and then obviously out in Tokyo. This one's themed to an ancient Mayan temple. I think it's going to look great. They showed off a couple pieces of concept art, the facade, and then an interior shot of the attraction. I hope it works out well. I really am keeping my fingers crossed for this, and I have hopes that it's going to be really good. But let's talk about Dinosaur for a quick minute. Why can't they have both in the park? Why can't you have Tropical Americas and Dinosaur living in the same theme park? I mean, to me, that doesn't make any sense. The whole goal is to add capacity to the park, not just keep replacing the stuff you have every 10 years. let's add capacity to the theme park. Well, Disney World is always so crowded, and Animal Kingdom needs more rides. Animal Kingdom doesn't have that many attractions. And a lot of people going to the park are looking for that. They're looking for those thrill rides. They're looking for things to do. Not everyone's like me, where I can go and walk around the park and enjoy its nature, as an attraction. People want to go on rides. So to me, just completely getting rid of dinosaurs and thinking that they're not worth anything, to me is stupid. Especially when your competitor up the road is capitalizing on dinosaurs tremendously. I mean, Velocicoaster is one of their most popular attractions. The River Adventure is doing really well. And then here in Hollywood, the Jurassic World ride is incredibly popular. So yeah, why not do dinosaurs? You could keep dinosaurs in the park. Just all they had to do to Dinoland USA was just give it a nice refresh. Bring in some new dinosaur ideas. Refresh the dinosaur ride. Put in some new theming there. They could have done a boat ride with dinosaurs and had some really cool animatronics. I mean, there's a bunch of things you can do, and then add the Tropical Americas as an addition with 3 more rides. It's easy. Why can't they do that? It's just weird. Disney is just so weird. With that said though, overall Tropical Americas is cool. I think it's going to be a big hit. I just hope that they have even more plans for Animal Kingdom, because the park desperately needs some attractions. Now, before we talk about Magic Kingdom, I did want to jump around the world really quickly because I have some thoughts about Magic Kingdom. But quickly, in Shanghai, they announced a new Spider-Man roller coaster. That's going to be really cool. I'm a coaster enthusiast, so I dig all that. The more coasters, the better. And they only showed off, I think, one piece of concept art for that. And then in Hong Kong Disneyland, it looks like they're taking the Tower of Terror ride system and doing something very interesting with that and Spider-Man. There'll be an all-new Spider-Man attraction there. And then moving to Paris, over at Disney Adventure World, which is the new name for the Studios park, they're getting the Frozen land that we already knew about, which is opening up in 2026. So that'll be good, because this park is in desperate need of things to do. I mean, when I was over there, we finished that park in like 2 hours. There was nothing to really do over there. So the fact that Frozen's coming in is really nice. And then also another land based on The Lion King is coming to that park, and there'll be a flume ride. Looks very similar to Splash Mountain / Tiana's Bayou Adventure, so they could be using the same ride system there. I think the ride's gonna be really cool. We've been begging Disney for a Lion King attraction for a long time. Just like the Monsters coaster, this has been in the pipeline for a lot of us enthusiasts for a long time. So this is really nice to see. Does it fit the Paris park, the Adventure World park? I don't think so. I think they should have put this in Animal Kingdom. That would have been the logical choice. And then I would have given Paris something else. But hey, whatever. It gives that park some more rides. But then over at Disneyland Paris proper, they're not getting any new rides. They're just getting a new show again. And I'm like, why are they not investing in that park? Disneyland Paris has not received a new ride built from the ground up ever since it's been open back in the 90s. Like, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. That park is so neglected, and it's a beautiful park too. The park is dying for some new things that can like breathe some new life in it. But the fact that Disney just kind of ignores it is so weird to me, especially knowing that Universal might be building a theme park just across the water there in the UK. They might be building an all new theme park. Why wouldn't you invest more into the Disney parks that you have out in Europe? It just, again, another thing that doesn't make any sense. But moving back over to Walt Disney World, let's finish off with Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom is getting some cool things. One of them's a little bit weird, and it's just an odd decision. And the other one is like just amazing. Let's talk about the weird one first, and that's the Cars Land. It's not going to be a carbon copy of Radiator Springs Racers or the Cars Land that we have here in California. It's going to be something a little different, but in the same Cars universe. So the rumors of a Cars attraction coming to Magic Kingdom were true, which is pretty crazy. But this one's just weird because it's like, why? That's so random. It's just such a random idea to put at Magic Kingdom. Out of all the things you could have done, they picked a Cars attraction or a land. There's gonna be 2 rides, one that's a little bit more thrilling like Radiator Springs Racers, but it's themed to like outdoorsy off-roading trucks. And then the other one will be like a family-friendly kid attraction, like a C or a D ticket attraction, similar to Mater's or Luigi's. So there'll be 2 rides and then some shopping and dining. But it's just weird. The Cars is a weird one. That was not on anybody's bingo card, really. I mean, but aside from the rumors. So yeah, and the way they described it is like, oh, this is going to be the wilderness, but then the wilderness is right next to Liberty Square, which is then connected to Frontierland, but then there's Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which is like a New Orleans thing. So what the heck is going on in that corner of the park? And they're still keeping Big Thunder Mountain. Like, welcome to Wilderness Tiana Bayou Adventure Place with old Western hints of New Orleans and old America. I don't know. With all that aside, though, I think the rides will be fun. The main e-ticket attraction is very intriguing. I think that's going to be a huge hit. Thrill rides are always a huge hit with people, and especially when you could ride with your whole family, so it's not going to be too insane. But very similar to what we've seen with Radiator Springs Racers and maybe Test Track, probably a mesh between the two, and then obviously in a different setting. That's arguably really beautiful. Again, it's just a weird choice. It's a weird fit in Magic Kingdom. It's just weird. It should have gone to a different park. If anything, I would have put that over at Disney Adventure World. I would have blown up that Cars tram ride that they have, because that ride sucks, and then put the Cars land over at Disney Adventure World. Like, come on, hello. But moving on to my favorite announcement. This is probably my favorite announcement out of all of them. And it's just because I'm a horror fan and a Halloween guy and a spooky guy. So this is at the top of my list. And it's the Villains Land. The Villains Land is coming to Magic Kingdom. It was confirmed, and they've confirmed that they're also starting construction on this. It's going to take them 40 years, but hey, we're going to see it nonetheless. And the concept art looks incredible. It looks very scary. It looks very intimidating. And that's what they're going for with this. They're definitely competing with Dark Universe and Epic Universe. I mean, all of these announcements are in response to Universal, right? If it wasn't for Universal, we wouldn't be getting any of this. So thank Epic Universe for all this stuff. The theme park wars are on, right? And we as a consumer win at the end of the day. It's good that they both fight and throw that torch back and forth to each other. It's perfect for us. But the Villains Land just looks awesome. The concept art is kind of vague, but they did say there's going to be 2 attractions, restaurants, and shops, so the scale of this is very large. And in the concept art, it does look like there's going to be a roller coaster, and if that's true, heck yeah, I am so down for the Villains Land roller coaster. I mean, that's probably gonna be really cool. And I would assume the big major e-ticket ride there will be a dark ride, like a trackless dark ride, featuring all the villains doing crazy things, and hopefully the scale of that is very grand and spectacular. It's gonna be a great addition to Magic Kingdom. The fact that you'll have Fantasyland with all the princesses, it's all bright and sunshine and rainbows, but then over the mountain, that's where all the villains live, beyond Fantasyland and into the darkness. It's a cool combo. It's a yin and yang, and that fits Magic Kingdom perfectly. So I'm really stoked for this. I just hope that they build it in a timely manner. I hope it doesn't take them 18 years to build this thing. Josh again said that they started construction, but who knows? Construction can mean pulling weeds, trimming some trees, kicking some rocks around. We don't know. I'm thinking with the timeline of this one, it might open sometime in like 2028 or 2029. It just depends on how ambitious they want to go and how large the scale is and the ride, technology and all that stuff. If they start construction now, let's see, 25, 6, 7. Yeah, it's probably going to be like 2028. If it takes them like 3.5 years to do this, it's probably 28. Now, as far as like big major rides, that was pretty much all the announcements at the Parks and Experiences panel. Overall, some pretty good punches towards Universal and other competitors. I mean, Universal is their biggest competitor, but yeah, solid punches. When we're talking about Orlando, yeah, I think the Villains Land is a really good punch towards Dark Universe and what Universal's doing over there. The Cars thing, even though it's weird, yeah, it's just some new rides for Magic Kingdom. The door coaster is a really good thing for Hollywood Studios. There's quite a few new rides coming to the Orlando Resort, which is great. Does it match the same hype level as Epic Universe and the scale and ambition? No. Epic Universe is very hard to beat, and I still think Epic Universe wins at the end of the day. And Disney knows this. I mean, let's be real. Even though they won't admit it, they know that they can't compete with Epic Universe. It's a jewel. It's a crown jewel, right? And it's very hard for Disney to match that same energy. So they're gonna let Universal have their moment. And then in a few years, when they open up the villain stuff and the Cars stuff and all the other things, they'll have their moment. At the end of the day, the consumer wins, like I was saying earlier. I'm okay with both of these giants fighting. I will go to both of them. I love both Universal Orlando Resort and Walt Disney World. So, hey, I'm all for it. I wish they did talk about some other things though. There was no mention about maybe some new hotels or anything. There was no mention of Tomorrowland at Disneyland, which has just been rotting there for 20 years. There was no mention of the water parks, no new slides or anything being added to the water parks. The water parks are so neglected in Orlando, it's ridiculous. So that would have been a pretty nice announcement. And then again, like Disneyland Paris getting snubbed once again. Like, what is the deal with Disneyland Paris always getting the snub? It's like, come on, just give Disneyland Paris the Oscar already. They deserve it. And yeah, just my critiques on like the ride placement. The Cars ride should have gone to Paris. The Lion King ride should have gone to Animal Kingdom. The Coco ride should have gone to Epcot. What about, okay, here's another thing for Animal Kingdom. What about expanding Pandora out there? Why can't you build upon it out at Animal Kingdom? Why not? Add more capacity to Animal Kingdom. Oh, and I did forget one thing. Millennium Falcon is finally getting some new updates on its excursions. We're getting a Mando and Grogu mission for Smuggler's Run. This is so late in the game though. It's like Smuggler's Run's been open since 2019 and they're finally adding something new to it, but this new edition won't happen until 2026. That's another thing. The timelines are just so crazy, but at least it's something. At least it's something. I would have liked, would have been cool for Galaxy's Edge as like a new ride, a speeder bike roller coaster. Throw in a Vekoma motorbike and theme it to the speeder bikes from the Star Wars films. Easy win there. Super easy win. Now before I end it, I'm gonna give my top 5 favorites. I think Villains is definitely up there. Villains Land is going to be really darn cool. The Walt Disney Show, super charming. I think it's a perfect fit for Disneyland. The Coco boat ride, can't wait to see that. I think that's gonna be really cool. The Pandora Avatar Land coming to California Adventure, I think that's actually gonna be really cool. And then finally the Door Coaster. I mean, yeah, come on, another roller coaster that's themed to Monsters Incorporated. Heck yeah. There you have it. There are some of my opinions and thoughts on what was announced. I hope Disney gives us some more details on all this stuff in the coming months and years as they start building all this stuff out. It's gonna be a while. We're gonna have to wait a few years to enjoy a lot of these experiences, including things like Pandora. I mean, that's like close to 2030. I don't think that's gonna be open here in the next couple of years. These are huge, massive, ambitious projects. So we're going to be enjoying Epic Universe and other theme park goodies throughout the industry, thankfully, to keep us distracted before all these Disney things open up. But what do you think of all of it? Go ahead and comment down below. Let's continue the conversation down there. And if you enjoyed today's relaxing little video, you can let me know by smashing the thumbs up button. And if you're new to the channel and you love talking about Disney or vlogs from some of your favorite theme parks, well, you should consider subscribing because I have brand new videos every single week. Don't forget to check out my Instagram account and X account. Those links will be down below in the description. And if you want to help out the channel even more, you can do so by hitting the super thanks button. I always love when people donate and it helps me out tremendously. So thank you to everyone that does. Until the next video, I hope you have a beautiful day, morning, evening, whatever it is. And I'll see you next time in the parks. Bye.